Hello, everyone, and welcome to the wrap up for the 16th of October 2020. Again, if you're new here, this is a series where I kind of developed a trading strategy using Trade Ideas Backtester. I use their backtester and their statistics to find something that's working in this market from an algorithmic point of view. I scan it by my eyes. We have Trade Ideas and its ability to auto trade, and we have it. These four symbols trade throughout the week, closed on Friday, so I can go in this account anyway into the weekend in cash, and then we do it again next week, and I show you guys the performance for that. So let's actually start with the performance because there was only one stock that actually triggered, and we'll go in from there. You can see this was a loser of a week, broke out, and it looked very nice, and then today it kind of came back and pulled back with us. So let me grab the chart for you over here from my other monitor. And you can see we have a little hook down the equity curve there, but overall everything is looking fine. I'm going to get some more detailed reporting into the next year that will kind of show a little bit better of what's really going on, with trade sizing and stuff like that. But we'll leave that to next year. So quickly taking a look at the SPY. Just an overall kind of pullback week, but still kind of fairly bullish, right? So we gapped up here on Monday, and then we had this kind of slow grind down into this channel here. Again, to me, this just looks like a bull flag with really no reason to panic. We're still above short-term moving average and the mid-term moving average and 200-day moving average, and still in a strong uptrend. So looking fine here. It looks like we're gapping down a little bit in the post market, but we'll see. Again, the election is coming, guys, and as a Canadian, I'm not going to talk about the politics side of that at all, but what I am going to talk about is the fact that the market is going to get wild and unpredictable. So if you feel the need to be in a lot of positions and to trade around the election, please just focus on the day trading side of things. I had a chat when we do our live Q&As on the Trade Ideas channel, which I do every Wednesday. If you want to come check me out, that's Wednesday at noon over at tradeIdeas.com, or sorry, youtube.com/tradeIdeas/live, noon every Wednesday. I had a couple long discussions where there was people who felt the need to bet on the outcome. And one thing that I always say is algorithmic traders, and as whether or not you're statistical base or fundamental base, it doesn't matter. You're trading based off of past performance and trying to make sure that performance carries into the future. And the one thing that I'll say is that you haven't been able to test any of the theories that you have for a 2020 election with a pandemic and with all this. You just haven't been able to test that. So because of that, you as a trader should be more than okay with sitting out. And if there's something that's telling you that you can't in your head, I really want you to check that and think logically and say, okay, do I have an edge in what's coming up here? So again, I mentioned it in this video, and I'll mention it in every video into the election. This series, I'm going to take whatever week falls into the election off, and then maybe the week after that, depending on the volatility that ensues, right? It's what we do is we go into cash and we watch. It's the advantage we have over institutions and large things like that. I will be continuing to day trade, so I may put up a couple videos about that instead, where I talk about, I've taken this trade as a day trade for this reason, and I'm in here and I'm out here, and this is why, that type of thing. But please be careful going into this, right? And it's not, again, I am apolitical, but what I'm saying is that, it's basically like trading into earnings, but for the entire market, right? Where, you wouldn't buy and hold a stock into earnings for an individual name. And the whole market's like that, where there's this binary, unpredictable event that's going to occur when the market is closed, so you can't protect your risk at all, right? So you're just kind of taking a shot and hoping you're right. And again, I can't condone that from a trading point of view. All right, so what we are looking at this week, quickly, we're looking at CHRW. I kind of like the fact that this thing may be putting in a kind of a longer term bull trap where it poked over this resistance and it looks like it's kind of quickly coming back down and may come in and retest that. The really ugly day here today, and you'll see the other short has that as well. So we're kind of looking to see if we break this upward trend line going on here. If we get a kind of continuation day, I think we could have a little breakdown. Next support is way down here, and then a little bit after that. So there's really not much in our way lower here, and that's the main reason for that. The other short is KSU. It's the same kind of pattern, right? Broke out of this resistance area, and then now it looks like it may be coming back. You could call this a head and shoulders if you want, but a bearish engulfing candle happening here after this kind of doji spinning top and this doji spinning top and that kind of doji spinning top. So a lot of indecision here, and then a decision made. So I'm going to see if we can break this kind of resistance area and see if we take a push down to that moving average. On the long side, I'm looking at Baidu. Essentially looking at Baidu here, we have this kind of long-term rounded bottom that's happening here. This big breakout day that was immediately retraced. So what I want to see in order to get involved is for it to kind of reclaim this area. On the second push of this area, I think things get interesting, because if I was playing this from the short side, I would be short somewhere in through here. My stop would go kind of above here. So we're going to see if this breakout gets a little bit of a stop run. And the fact that we've got these kind of two inside days coiling up is interesting to me as well. And then last but not least, a cheaper one with Smile Direct Club. Massive short flow. You're talking 30% of the stock short here. So far they've been right from the IPO at 17. Now we're down to 11. But it broke out of this $12 area. You can see all of the topping tails here, and you can see all of the topping tails here. We broke out of that. We came back to retest it. So I think if we make another move off this prior resistance, that's potential support right now, we could get going there with a massive short float like that. It's one of those things that if it gets going, it could get going pretty good. So okay, guys, that is it for this week. I will talk to you next week. And again, think about what you're going to do around this major event. Even if it turns out to be nothing, I think this is kind of a test of a lot of traders is going to happen here. Whether or not they kind of succumb to a gambling mindset, or whether or not they stick to a plan and they look at their trading plan and say, well, I don't have a plan for this. So therefore, I'm going to sit out, right? So again, safety first to keep yourself fighting in the game and fighting for the next game.